Jimmy Kimmel played the Nick Fuentes clip of him saying having sex with women is gay. Is that true? Hold on.
Election deniers and anti.
Holy shit.
Had a girlfriend. Had people
This gentleman up.
what people calling me gay because I've never had a girlfriend. I think if anything, it makes me less gay. Never having a girlfriend, never having sex with a woman, really makes you more heterosexual. Because honestly, dating women is gay.
Critical support. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Critical support. Fully on board with this. Having sex with women is super f***ing gay. Have you ever been around a woman? Completely correct. His one good take.
Having sex with women is gay. And having sex with men is gay. And you know, it's
To equal degrees is the point that he's making that I agree with.
it's all gay.
That was the Christmas episode.
I can't believe that played on Jimmy Kimmel. This is like the funniest timeline. Imagine this being the the criticism you levy against Nick Fuentes. Well, I assume it's part of a larger bit he did. I doubt he just like apropos of nothing, just like dropped. By the way, here's this guy Nick Fuentes. Here's a funny clip of his. Goodbye. There's probably more there. I'm guessing. Just a guess. This timeline. Rachel Maddow played a bunch of Fuentes clips too. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We're very lucky that Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos are gigantic grifters. Because if they were smart, they would stay behind the scenes and covertly influence Kanye West's behavior to normalize neo-Nazi talking points. See, Kanye West has so much goodwill with so many people that he can say some pretty wild shit and get away with it, or at the very least, like, be listened to. Fuentes and Yiannopoulos don't have that, like, leeway, meaning that if they're up front and center, like, hogging the limelight, which they are because they're grifters, clout sharking off of Kanye, you know, enjoying and reveling in the attention, then they actually kind of sink the ship, you know what I mean? Like, Kanye on his own could go a lot farther normalizing Nazi talking points than the three of them could together openly. But Yiannopoulos and Fuentes both just like want the clout of being around Kanye. They think it's fun. They're not really strategists, you know. They're very self-interested. The clout sharking comes before everything else. They're not true believers. Which we already knew about both of them. But it's still funny. I don't think they're dumb. You know, I don't think either of them are stupid. They're just both, I guess, thinking about like little boys too much to like focus on the big picture. Little boys and money, I guess. And Bitcoin. Is Milo fucking Nick? Sure. Yeah, sure. The issue is conservatives refuse to recognize this is the company they keep. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. A lot of conservatives, guys, keep in mind, a lot of conservative strategists, politicians, and pundits will listen to a Nick Fuentes rant and in their head think, oh yeah, of course. A lot of them are Nazis. The question is like how effectively can they deliver that message in a way that resonates with non-Nazis? And that's always been the mission of the radical, you know. So how do you covertly introduce your message and spread it to people and convince them without them like fully catching on to what you believe in? Now this is not a strategy that I have like any moral you know, like conviction in. You know, I think you should be upfront as a leftist. Obviously, as a Nazi, you have no chance if you're directed up front most of the time because your views are so stupid and so heinous that you can't get away with that. But you know, on the inside, I think a lot of these conservative pundits are fully aware. You know, oh yeah, we'll take a look at the Tim Pool thing. Seth Dillon, founder of the Babylon Bee, calls Chaya Raichik a 33-year-old woman a young Jewish girl. Nah, I saw this. I mean, it's always the like, oh hey, my oomphy, Lance. It's always like a they'll run through literally any defense they can, you know? Like, the Libs of TikTok account will, like, encourage people to bomb hospitals, they'll dox, they'll lie about anyone and everyone, and then somebody will say, "Hey, this person's like a domestic terrorist," and then Seth Dillon will run in and go, "Oh, you really gonna say that about you really you were gonna say that about someone who wears glasses? You're gonna say that about a little girl, little birthday girl, it's her birthday? You're gonna say that about a little birthday girl? She's Jewish, she's black, she's disabled, she's got autism, she's just a little bean? You're gonna say she's literally baby." Because, you know, they're dishonest hacks. You wouldn't accuse a guy with glasses of being a domestic terrorist, would you? Yes, right-wingers love the Red Bull, for sure. It's so much time of Pink Floyd. You can just, like, Google Elon Musk bad and get a lot. God. I got the sniffles. God damn it. Cop news? I hate cops. 5 Connecticut officers charged in connection with the transport of Randy Cox. Randy Cox. That's the name of this guy? Randy Cox, who became partially paralyzed in a police van. I think I've seen this. They put him in the fun house back here. They put him in the metal bouncy castle. They tied his hands behind his back, and then they did some sweet flips on the highway loop-de-loop. They went down to Pothole City, and they had themselves a grand old time. Please don't play that. You know what happens here. Partially paralyzed. You get it. 5 police officers have been arrested and charged in connection. Arrested? Well, that's nice. And charged in connection with a transportation incident that left a man paralyzed from the chest down, according to a Monday news release from the New Haven, Connecticut State Attorney's Office. Randy Cox was arrested on suspicion of illegally possessing a handgun. Video of his arrest shows him in a police transport van that had a long bench but no seatbelts. The driver of the van made an abrupt stop, and the video shows a handcuffed Cox slide down the bench headfirst into the back wall of the van. Okay, so they did the old break and skate here, where he flew like a projectile headfirst at a metal wall with his hands tied behind his back. The officers were charged with second-degree reckless endangerment in violation of Connecticut general statutes and cruelty to persons in violation of Connecticut general statutes, the release said. Also, apparently, State Attorney John Doyle Jr. is a name here. A lot of names here. Cox repeatedly asked officers for help. Jeez. Police footage shows Cox repeatedly asking for help, saying he can't move and thinks his neck is broken. When he arrives at a detention center, officers tell him to sit up or get up off the van floor. Cox again says he cannot move. "You're not even trying," one officer says. The video also shows an officer telling Cox he drank too much and to sit up. Eventually, officers lift Cox up and drop him in a wheelchair. Cox starts falling out of the wheelchair when 2 officers appear to hold him up. After Cox is processed at the jail, the video shows him appearing to slip partially off the seat of the wheelchair. No medical attention, by the way. Just broken neck, just sort of being, like, slumped around. Video shows officers dragging him from the wheelchair across the floor into a holding cell before propping him against the bed. After the last officer in the cell walks away, Cox falls on the floor. Cool. As a result of his injuries, officials in the Connecticut City announced a series of reforms in police training requirements that include mandating the use of seatbelts in prisoner transport. Love that. To drop $3 million of the city's tax dollars on a innovative a training program for police officers to teach them the technology of putting people in your car in a seatbelt. Something that apparently wasn't already required, even though we're required to do it when we drive. Cool.